Sports. KD Sports. We're gonna talk some basketball tonight in the KD Sports segment for y'all.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Francis. I'm here again with the homie Feel the Burn. And before we get started with this basketball episode, just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Visit them at safelightcandle.com for all your LED lighting at affordable prices. And lastly, subscribe to our Patreon for exclusive member-only access. The Patreon link can be found on our website, which is cave.com. That's KFOVTray.com. Zach, what is up, my man? A lot of things have changed since our last basketball episode. There are some teams I thought that weren't even in the mix in the playoffs, and now they're creeping up. But before we get there, you got a little something to talk about this March Madness thing. I haven't been keeping up. You update me and the viewers. Was good.
Yeah, no, we have been full go here with March Madness. March to me is like the second best month of the year for sports, behind October, because we get to get like the start of baseball, basketball kind of takes over, hockey kind of takes over from the remains that football left. Football's still kind of making some noise. We're gonna probably try and get a football episode in here, just to update on some moves that have been happening. But March, really comes with the madness, and the first couple rounds of this tournament, weren't too crazy, but the Sweet 16 has seen quite a bit of upsets. A couple number ones went down this week.
I mean, Houston
or
just
over
lost
this
to
weekend.
Duke. Houston just lost
Yeah.
to Duke today, right? That was, I mean, Houston was ranked number one though, pretty much the last couple weeks of the season, AP rank.
Yeah, I think top defense in the nation too.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, so full disclosure, I don't have any strong brackets remaining. I had Arizona going, to the national championship. I don't know why I always fall into that trap. But they got bounced yesterday by Clemson, who I had losing in the first round in every bracket I did. I did not believe in them, and now they're in the Elite Eight playing tomorrow night. But yeah, no, I did have Duke actually beating Houston in one of my brackets.
Nice.
I had them playing Arizona in that specific bracket for the national championship, so that's fun to see them still alive. Duke and North Carolina and UConn. I feel like when we were growing up, at least, like those were the top three premier blue blood programs in college.
Definitely.
And over the last couple of years, they've kind of fallen off. I know UNC won last year, but like Duke kind of hasn't been making too much noise, like they used to. Connecticut, kind of the same thing. I think the last time Connecticut was really good was when they went on that run with Kemba Walker. Maybe had a couple seasons since then. But yeah, no, I mean, for me personally, like, as much as, we want craziness, when you have a first weekend like we did, where we didn't have too many, big time upsets, it's nice to see the regular college powerhouses, get some shine again.
Yeah, man. I am happy that Duke is still in it. I did place a couple bets before the tournament started, so I placed it on 3 teams, and 2 of them are still in it. I placed a future bet on Gonzaga, Tennessee, and Duke. And Tennessee and Duke are still alive, so I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee and Duke are on the same side, so if both of them make it to the Final Four, I'd be happy because at least one of them will be in the championship game.
Yep.
So I'm really hoping they pull out their, because I know Tennessee won convincingly today against Creighton.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, I mean, NC State was a big surprise too. I mean, I know NC State's going to play Duke, and NC State beat Duke before their league or conference play ended. So they're a team to watch as well, because I mean, you know how it is. Like in March Madness, it's all about momentum. You have one game to get it going, and if you're off or your defense is failing on rotations, it can swing the other way real quick. Wasn't there a game in the round of 32 where, correct me if I'm wrong, but someone was up big time and then they just lost it? It was like Gonzaga.
Hmm.
Who did Gonzaga play?
It wasn't Gonzaga.
Oh, it
It
wasn't Gonzaga.
was Nevada and Dayton.
Okay, there you go.
Nevada was up by like, I want to say like 16 points or something like that
At
with like
halftime,
four
it seems
minutes
like, right?
left.
Oh, with 4 minutes
No,
left. Wow.
yeah, it was like late in the game, and they just went on like a historical, like all-time just collapse. And
Mhm.
Dayton ended up winning that game. And I think Dayton they lost the next game to Arizona, but
Yes.
um, Nevada is one of those teams too that's consistently like making the tournament. Can kind of play upset a little bit, play spoiler. And that was just an all-time choke job. And I have some family that live up in Reno, and so they just moved up there about like 5 years ago, I think,
Uh-huh.
4 or 5 years ago. And so I've been, having a little bit more uh, of like some love for Nevada. So that was a big bummer to watch. But speaking of NC State, and actually tying it back into Kemba Walker and UConn, when NC State went on their run, they had to win like 5 games in 6 days or something like that, or five
Oh,
days.
wow.
And in
Uh-huh.
the AC for the ACC championship, and that's how they got in was because they won the
Okay.
conference tournament, and they rattled
I
off
see. Okay.
wins against. Yeah, I think they had to beat Duke to get in, and they ended up beating them. Then they get the rematch, but it definitely felt a lot similar to that Kemba Walker UConn team that did the same thing. They ran the table in the ACC, won the conference tournament. They were the 8 seed that year and won the Natty. I think they were the 8 seed.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure they were the 8 seed
Yeah.
in that tournament. That was like
Hmm.
2012, I think, 2012, 2013.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we get similar vibes with this NC State team for sure. So they're probably them and Clemson. I think would be considered the Cinderella still alive in this tournament.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, I think this weekend is going to be pretty fun with some of these matchups.
Yeah, that Duke NC State's the one I'm particularly looking forward to because they play in the same conference in the ACC. So when you get that matchup in the actual national tournament,
Yeah.
it's a chess game at that point because they're familiar with each other. So you have actual film, you know their tendencies, you can
Yep.
make adjustments here and there. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah. So
Another
we got Purdue and
Tennessee,
Tennessee.
yeah.
That's the only 1-2 that's in the Elite Eight.
Hmm.
And then you got Bama and Clemson, which is like football schools. Kind of
Dude,
funny.
dude, that's so funny. I never thought Alabama and Clemson would be in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, and now they were battling on the football field for a natty, Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence or
yeah.
Deshaun Watson and in Alabama.
Mhm.
And then UConn's facing Illinois, which is kind of cool to see Illinois,
Mhm.
back in the limelight. I think might have been like 04, 05. That's when they had like I think Hakeem Warwick was with
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
with the Illini.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I remember
yeah,
those
yeah.
those teams were pretty fun to watch.
Hmm.
And then what's the other one we got? Yeah, NC State and Duke.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah,
should be
should
some
be
fun
fun.
matchups.
Real quick, before we move on to NBA, give me your Final Four predictions after this weekend. Who's going to be in the Final Four?
Ugh. Um, so I think the Cinderella story ends. I think Duke makes it to the Final Four. I think they beat NC State. Down south, I actually do like Purdue. Like one thing that I used to always believe in wholeheartedly with March Madness was the Big Ten.
Hmm.
Um, so like whoever won the Big Ten, I would kind of like follow and just believe that they were going to be, champs.
Hmm.
So give me Duke and Purdue. I think that's one side.
Hmm.
And the other side, I do like Bama. I mean, I've been going against Clemson this whole this whole tournament. I didn't think they had it in them, so they might prove me wrong again. But I like the way that Bama played the other night against UNC, and then I mean, UConn's been blowing everybody out, dude. Like
Yeah, yeah. I
they
think
seem to be head
UConn
and
is.
shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah, I really think I agree with you, except I think Tennessee might pull one off against
On
Purdue.
Purdue. Yeah.
Um, but that's just me, because I have money on Tennessee, so I'm hoping it's a
Yeah.
Tennessee. Yeah, yeah. So I got Tennessee, Duke. I do like
Tennessee Duke. Yeah.
Alabama. I do like Alabama. They have I don't know the name of the player, but there's a kid on there who reminds me of like a AK-47 Andre Kirilenko type of player.
Carolingo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he's
Oh
like
yeah.
six nine on a handle. I forget his name, but I saw it on Instagram today, and he was cooking North Carolina last game. And yeah, UConn, they've been
Yeah,
dominant
dude,
all
UConn's
season.
sick.
So I feel like Big East too. I mean, sometimes they have off and on years. So I think this is the year where the Big East kind of makes it to the national championship. But yeah, that's pretty much what I think is gonna go down. But yeah, man, good stuff. Good stuff. Always good to have March Madness around as we
Yeah.
wind
It always
down.
goes by so quick too. Like it
It does.
the
It
week
does.
leading up to it and selection Sunday, you get all excited, and then all of a sudden you get those first games, and it's like, oh shit, you're halfway through the Sweet 16
Y-
or
I'll be
in the
honest. Like
Elite Eight, and
this.
it's like 2 weeks.
I'll, yeah, I'll be honest. This is the first time in a long time that couldn't catch any game because it just got away from me. Like I had shit to do,
Hmm.
so like I was just catching highlights.
Yeah, that is
But
one of
yeah,
the perks that I do enjoy of working in an office environment is
mm,
Thursday and Friday of the first Thursday and
yeah,
Friday of March Madness. They're on all day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That works.
So
Cool. Well, let's move on to the NBA, what we're mainly here for. Um, let's review these current NBA standings, and let's talk about some of the teams also that we didn't really get to touch on last time. I mean, last time we touched on like some of the up and coming teams that kind of caught us by surprise, and also like the top teams that everyone knows is on the map. But now let's talk about some teams that are really good, but they're not surprising, but they're not like at the top tier.
mhm.
So yeah, man, let's just start with these NBA standings real quick. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I think when we last spoke too, um, there were a bunch of teams that we wanted to talk about, but we try to
Mhm.
keep it pretty limited. So we're trying to give them some love on this show for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So not much has changed in the East. Um, I'd say, yeah. I mean, pretty much it's been the same since we last spoke. But I think Knicks are kind of hot right now. We're going to talk about the Knicks
Hmm.
later, but I want to talk about the Knicks last time, but we just didn't have enough time. But they're a team that I think is a scary matchup in the playoffs, and I also think the Heat are a team you don't want to see in the first round, especially if you're the Bucks, who have for some reason they could
Yeah.
just have their kryptonite. But yeah, I don't see the Nets. I think the Nets are pretty much out already. So the playoffs are pretty much set in stone here. You might see a little
With the play-in,
switching
right? Top
with the
10.
play-in, yeah, with like Hawks and Bulls. Who gets home court advantage? But same with the Heat and Sixers. They're kind of like a game or two away from each other. So they're just gonna play based on who gets home court advantage at that point. And then I want to touch on the West because the last time we spoke on the West, last episode, I remember saying no one's really gonna be, creeping in into the 10th seed. But now the Rockets are on an 11 game win streak, and they're knocking on the door on 10th seed. And the Warriors, they have their games. I mean, but the Warriors have been inconsistent as of late. So that's a thing to watch too. The Rockets could sweep in if the Warriors don't handle business these last week or so, or there's about like 8 to 10 games left, depending on which team you're in. But yeah, that's a matchup to watch. And then it's real close. I would say 7 through 9 as well. I mean, Lakers just lost tonight. It would have helped if they won because Kings lost to the Mavs, so that
Mm.
they could have gotten a
Jumped
little
them,
bit
right?
closer, jumped
Or a
him
half game. Yeah.
half game, getting within a half game. But yeah, it's a real fun matchup. I really think there's going to be a lot of movement between the 7 and 9 right there. Just whoever gets hot towards the end, and or whoever's cold. Um, but yeah, man, let's start off with some of these Western teams that we didn't get to talk about last time. I want to talk about these Suns, man. They made a huge splash off season with acquiring Bradley Beal, and
Hmm.
when they made that acquisition, I know they were very top heavy, but I was concerned how well they would do in the regular season because of their depth. They pretty much traded all their depth to acquire Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
But I mean, regardless, if you face them in the playoffs, they're a scary team because you have Kevin Durant, you have Devin Booker who has NBA Finals experience, and Bradley Beal has a lot of weight lifted off his shoulders as a number one. Now he's literally a number three option, catch and shoot, and he can shoot the lights out if he gets hot. My only concern with them is if one of them gets subbed out, they lose all of their advantage. I was able to catch the Clippers Suns game live this season. Shout out to my cousin Emil. He took me, and Suns were keeping it close. But as soon as KD or Devin Booker went out for rest, the Clippers just blew it wide open. And the Suns don't have much size. Um, their
Yeah.
defense, their defense isn't that great. They're only I mean, they're in the middle of the pack. They're ranked number 13th in defensive rating. So obviously their offense is holding them up. They're ranked ninth in offensive rating. Obviously with you got Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, you're gonna do pretty well in offensive. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm not sure how far they can go. It really depends if KD can lock in and drop like 40 points. Like all three of these guys, I feel like need to drop 30 plus points every game and every series they play in for them to give them a shot to make it to the finals. Just because their depth is non-existent after that acquisition of Bradley Beal.
So you think that's why I think when the standings we saw that they were ranked seventh. You think that's why with that star power, like it hasn't been working because the regular season is kind of like a more of a marathon type feel to it, marathon vibe, right? So
Mm-hmm.
them not having the depth, is that why, they might be losing some of these games in regular season when, when you have a big three like that on your roster, like you really shouldn't be losing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's a marathon, so some of these guys sit out. They have Kevin Durant is not necessarily the most healthy NBA player at this stage of his career. So, especially with that Achilles tear happened to him a couple years ago. And Bradley Beal, another one, not the most healthy NBA player, is not available all the time. So, when they're together and they're healthy, they're lethal. But how healthy are they going to be? I think as of right now, they are healthy. So that's why they are a scary matchup in the first round. And that's why I'm a big fan of the NBA as of right now, because there's not one super team anymore
Yeah.
like it was a few years ago. So anything can happen. I mean, we saw with the Lakers last year; they were a playing team. They made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. We don't know. I can't say for sure what's going to happen this playoffs, but I wouldn't want to face Kevin Durant and Devin Booker in the first round. I mean, they're a seventh seed, so they can easily steal home court advantage if they get game one or two. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I definitely, share that same sentiment. That's a pretty formidable trio. Having to face them for 7 games is not appealing at all. That's where you would just kind of, if you're a team that has to face them, you just kind of hope that like those guys on the bench are, better and more locked in
Mm-hmm.
and ready to go against, the guys on the other bench. So that
Yeah,
way, in those
yeah.
crucial minutes when the stars are resting,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be able to maintain a lead or be able to, separate yourselves from the Sixers or the Suns' depth. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Definitely.
yeah, that's man, the West is loaded.
The West is fucking crazy, man. And then this next team I
Uh,
want to talk about, the Dallas
mm,
Mavericks. I mean, you got Luka
mm,
Doncic. I mean, arguably a MVP player this year. He's probably not
Yep.
going to win it, but he's definitely going to be in the votes.
Did we talk about him last time? I don't know if we did or not.
I don't think we did. I don't think we touched on him too much, just because we talked about mainly Shea and Joker.
Jokic. Yeah.
Jokic, yes. But yeah, these two guys right here. I mean, Kyrie when he's healthy. Kyrie had an incredible game tonight against the
Yeah.
Kings. He had 14 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Kings.
Nice.
And this is another scary matchup. I mean, they're like a lot of these teams that we're talking about. Their defensive rating isn't the best. The Mavs are sitting at 21st in defensive rating, but in offensive rating, they're 6th. So this is why they're kind of in the middle of the pack. They're not top tier like the Nuggets and Celtics and the Thunder. But they're when you have a top heavy duo with Kyrie and Luka, who have proven to be clutch players, I don't think you want to see them in the playoffs either. And now that they surrounded them with a lot of shooters, I think it's scary too. I mean, you just don't know, man. I mean, Luka could go.
Yeah.
Luka went up for 70 points this year. Like, who's to say he doesn't go off for like 40, 50 points with Kyrie dropping 30? And then if you have Tim Hardaway feeling it, knocking down 7 threes, it's a recipe for a disaster for anybody facing them in the first round. But yeah, man. It's gonna be an exciting playoffs to watch. Me personally, I really love Kyrie Irving.
I like him too. Yeah.
He's a coach.
I like both of them.
Yeah, I like Doncic too. So I'm hoping they pull. I hope they make it the second round. I really like the Mavs.
Is Carlisle still coaching them?
No, I believe it's Jason Kidd now.
It's Kidd. Okay. That was a while ago, huh, Carlisle?
Yeah, Carlisle moved on to Indiana, I believe.
That makes sense why they're good too. I like Carlisle as a coach.
Yeah, I love Carlisle.
I have a lot of respect for Carlisle. Dude, this pairing of Doncic and Kyrie is actually pretty fun to watch. I wasn't tripping too hard at first when they got together, but it's fun basketball to watch for sure. You know, like you said, having shooters around them is really smart for a guy that has a really, who has a top tier layup package, and Kyrie being able to drive. And then if he can, if he gets collapsed on, he can just dish out. Someone's going to knock out an open three, or even contested because they're, surrounded by pretty good shooters. That's kind of like, for me personally, in the style of basketball that I fear is like, you do your best to, shut down a superstar. And then all he does is have to dish out and someone drains a three when you like played perfect defense, but you just happen to get that pass off. Dude was open and hits it. And it's just like a backbreaking, three that could either extend momentum for them or kill your momentum. So I think that in that sense, the Mavs are very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Man, I mean, now we got to move on to another team who's 10th in the Western Conference. I can't believe they're 10th, but you don't want to see them either in the playoffs. It's the fucking Golden State Warriors. I mean, they're having their struggles. They're trying to figure it out, but who's to say?
Yeah, a lot going on right now, huh?
Yeah. I mean, Draymond gets getting ejected in the first 4 minutes. CP is being CP. I don't even know how CP is fitting into that thing, but I mean, they have a lot of young players around them. It's core four. I mean, Jonathan Kuminga is a really good player. I like his game.
Yeah.
But this is also a team I wouldn't want to face in the first round. Like if you're OKC and you get the first seed and then you get matched up with defending champions, not the defending champions, but champion level players, and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, that's not an easy feat, and you can easily get bounced if you're not on top of your A game, especially with Steve Kerr as their coach, who can make adjustments on the fly. Yeah, man. I mean, I haven't really caught much of any Warriors games this season. I feel like with with Chris Paul in the mix, it's kind of giving them. I don't know what to say. It's just I don't know how to put it. It's just weird because normally it's Steph bringing the ball up, getting everybody into an action. I mean, Steph is good off a ball anyway. Um, but Chris really needs the ball in his hand. CP needs the ball in his hand a lot to make
Yeah.
the plays, and now I feel like he's not as effective because a lot of this offense is like quick passing motions, like split screens, and he's like really effective in like a pick and roll situation. They don't really have bigs that are good at pick and roll. It's mainly off ball screens for Steph and Clay. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, Draymond is the exception. He's a good uh, an on ball screener, but he's not the same Draymond he was a few years ago. So when he's rolling
Mm-mm.
downhill, he doesn't really finish, but he can make the right read. And he can't really pop out either. He's not as an efficient 3-point shooter as he was as before too. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of I think it's just a lot of weird things going on. But like I said, you don't want to face them in the first round. I mean, and then just to go quickly on their rating, their defensive rating this year, yeah, they're like middle of the pack too. They are
Makes sense. I
15th.
mean, they're the 10 seed right now in the West.
Yeah. 15th in defense and 11th in offense. So yeah, they're right there. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, I don't think they can win the championship this year, but I feel like if Steph gets hot and is locked in, they can easily go to the Western Conference Finals too.
For
they're just
me,
not that big. But I'm sorry, you go for it.
yeah, no, I mean you're 100% right. For me though, like seeing when CP3 was acquired, it was like, oh dang, that's kind of cool. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how this is gonna work, you know? And then you start thinking about it, it's like, well, someone's gonna have to change their style of play,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's Curry or CP3. Number one,
Mm-hmm.
CP3 is gonna have to be healthy.
Yeah.
And play in as many games as you can because he's got invaluable knowledge. Obviously, he's CP
Mm-hmm.
freaking three. But one of them was going to have to pretty much change up who they were in a sense because they both can't come down the court with the ball in their hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it's been a failure in terms of my opinion on the Warriors this year. They're the 10 seed and we're in almost April.
Mm-hmm.
And for a team that's one of the all-time great dynasties in basketball. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate to see if you're a Warriors fan, but that's definitely a team, though. Like you said, if you're OKC, you might be hoping that you get Sacramento because
Mm-hmm.
if you have to go up against the Lakers, the Warriors, or the Mavs, uh, or
Yeah.
the Suns,
Suns. Yes.
that could be tough
Mm-hmm.
for sure, and for a young team to face all of those three teams that have like legit experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, I still don't know why Warriors acquired CP3, but I mean, hey, they're in the playoffs and anything can happen in the playoffs, so we'll see. Um, and the last Western Conference team I want to touch on too has been kind of under the radar because the Western Conference is just so stacked, but the Pelicans, they're a really good team this year too. I mean, Zion finally stayed healthy and lost
Yep.
some weight. He looks super
Yep.
lean and strong and finally
Focused.
finally listened to the
Yeah.
naysayers and just locked in. Um, but yeah, they're really good this year. And Brandon Ingram is I mean,
That's
I
our
love Brandon
guy.
Ingram. That's former Laker, baby Lakers.
That's
So
our guy.
the Pelicans, their offensive rating is they're ranked 12th in offense. But what's been keeping them, in their current seed, I think they're a fifth seed, is their defense. Their defensive rating is fifth. And that just goes to show, like, when you play defense, you're gonna win a lot of games, and it's tough to win a lot of games in the stacked Western Conference. So, props to Zion for finally figuring it out. I really wanted him to succeed in this league. But yeah, man, another scary team. I mean, that's gonna be a fun if things stay the same as they are right now. It's gonna be a fun series to watch Clippers versus Pelicans, because I do feel like Pelicans, they don't have as much star power as the Clippers do, but I feel like their defense is so good they can match up pretty well. And Willie Green is their coach. I really like Willie Green and what he's doing over there
Yeah.
now. So yeah,
That'd be
man,
the
it's gonna be
4-5, right?
fun to see. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, that's crazy. That would definitely be a fun series. But yeah, I mean, Zion Williamson was, obviously the hype around him coming out of college, is what it was. And, the controversy going into the season that he was facing. It's been, it's been fun to see him kind of lock in and just kind of, be serious about basketball, because this is what we've all wanted to see. We all, thought he was a special talent. I mean, the dude was busting out of his own shoes in college. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And so now, yeah, dropping some weight, getting focused, locking in. Brandon Ingram now too, like maturing right before in front of our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's been definitely a fun team to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I'd like to start to interrupt, but I just want to touch on CJ
No, go ahead.
McCollum too. I mean, I've always liked CJ McCollum, especially when he's on the Blazers. So to see him thrive in the Pelicans now as well is good to see. He's kind of has a similar journey as like Dame was overlooked in college, didn't
Yep.
really get drafted that high. But yeah, man, he's a hooper, and also their big Jonas Valanciunas. He's low key like their anchor down low. He gets bored. He protects the paint. He's a big reason as to why they are ranked so high in defense this year. So another scary team to watch. I feel like they could pull off an upset if if CJ and Brandon Ingram just get hot against the
Yeah.
Clippers. I feel like they can do it. But yeah, man,
We're gonna
that's
find
the
out
one.
how much of a true Laker Brandon Ingram was, depending on how he takes
Yes,
out his frustrations on the
yes,
Clippers.
yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I hope he does, man.
Oh
I hope
man.
he does. All right, that's pretty much all the Western Conference teams I wanted to touch on. Let's go to the Eastern Conference teams. I mean, last time we kind of touched
Man.
on, some of the up and coming teams like the Magic and the Pacers,
Magic.
and
Yeah.
of course we touched on the Celtics. But let's talk about these teams that are actually, gonna be in the mix as well. Like the Knicks. The Knicks are.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good when the New York Knicks are competitive and they're in the mix. And I really like
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson's game. He proved that he is a number one, and Julius Randle finally got a number one, because Julius Randle can't be a number one option. He's a really good number two option when he's
Mm-hmm.
healthy. So to see, and then OG Anunoby's over there now. That was a really good trade to make.
Very smart.
Yeah, so that's a good wing defender to have. He can guard Jason Tatum or Jimmy Butler, people like that in a playoff series. But yeah, man, let me just pull up their stuff real quick. But yeah, anything you gotta say about the Knicks?
I was just peeking, as you can tell. I got Sports Center up, and I just saw the highlights from the Knicks Spurs game
Oh, nice.
tonight. Spurs
Yeah,
ended up winning. Brunson had 61 tonight,
bro. He had like
and
21 points in both
Wembyana
quarters.
he had 40 and 20. Like what?
That's
That's
insane.
absurd, dude. It was like 124, 123. So
That's another conversation. That's a whole nother episode as to like the state of the NBA. I want to talk about that eventually. Like the fact that
mhm.
people are getting 70 points, 60 points. I wouldn't say easily, but it's not like if
Uh,
if in 2009 if someone dropped 60 points, it was like, oh, like what the fuck happened? Now it's just kind of like, oh,
yeah.
okay, that's cool.
I
I
was like,
mean,
oh
he's
yeah, that
good.
makes sense.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, that's cool. So we'll talk
And
about that.
the Warrior highlights were on too. Draymond trying to act a fool in this game is crazy, dude. This Warriors team is crazy. They'll go out and beat the Hornets by 20, but
Yeah.
then just absolutely drop a game that they shouldn't later on. So I don't know. It's weird. But New York Knicks, I don't think we've fully seen them at their peak, like in our lifetime, or at least for us being fans. They had a little bit of I know they had Linsanity there for a little bit. That was cute.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They were good I when I was first starting to watch basketball. I
Yes.
think they were in the finals against the Spurs.
Yes, in
Was
'99.
that
That's
this
when.
99? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That was
then
the.
obviously when Melo was there,
Mm-hmm,
they were always a threat. J.R. Smith. They had some fun teams too. Um, but you're absolutely right. Like when the Garden's rocking, that's like one of those famous arenas that we have. And when the team that plays there is good, like that place lights up, and we get to truly see, why it's considered a great venue. And it's like the Boston Garden when the Celtics are good. Obviously, like that place is popping too. The
mm-hmm.
freaking is it still called the Safeco Fieldhouse where the Pacers play?
I don't think it's called the
Or is
Conseco Fieldhouse, but it's still the same building. I don't know
Conseco?
who.
It's the same
I don't
building, right?
know.
This is probably like naming rights. That place, I remember that place being tough to play in.
Mm-hmm,
Obviously, Cal Palace in Sacramento is tough to play in when they're good.
mm-hmm.
It's obviously not called the Cal Palace anymore, I don't think. So, God, I'm aging myself. Uh, but Knicks basketball, it feels like they might have something this year. I think they have a pretty good recipe that they've, uh, gathered and now they're starting to cook a little bit at the right time.
Yeah, man. I mean, just to quickly touch on that, they're eighth in defensive rating, and in
Okay.
offense, they are ranked 10th. So
That's out of 30,
very
right?
solid. Yeah, out of 30. So very
Okay.
solid. Um,
Yeah.
Jalen
Top
Brunson's
10
a
both
baller. I
sides.
mean, 61 points. That's gonna be a fun matchup. I think they're fourth. I think right now. Um,
So that'd be the Magic.
yeah, I think they might get the Magic. So that's gonna be
Ooh.
fun. That'll be fun. People like casual fans are not gonna want to watch that, but if you're a real hooper that likes
Yeah.
basketball, that's gonna be a good series to watch.
That's how I felt. I think when we talked about last year's playoffs, we were looking at Knicks and was it Hawks?
Knicks, I think it was Knicks Heat last year.
Knicks Heat in the first
Yeah.
round? No, because it was
No,
Heat.
no,
Heat
it
knocked the
was Knicks.
Bucks out.
It was Knicks Cavs. I'm sorry, Knicks Cavs.
Oh, Knicks Cavs. There you go.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yeah. We'll touch on the Cavs in a little bit too.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but we'll jump to another team, Milwaukee Bucks.
Mm,
I think they're
hmm.
second in the East. They're also a scary team to face. You got Dame time. I think
Yeah.
it took them some time to kind of for Dame and Giannis to figure it out. But I mean, bro, you don't want to fit Dame time if it's crunch time. Like if it's a close game,
Yeah.
he's not scared of the moment, man. And finally, they have a player on the Bucks because before they didn't really have that go-to guy. They won their
Hmm.
championship in 2021, I think, just
Brooke
because.
Lopez. God
Brooke
damn.
Lopez. Hey, shout out to Brooke Lopez though.
Shout out Brooke Lopez.
Hey, when everyone thought his career was gonna be pretty much done, he was on the
Yeah.
freaking Lakers and he was playing like
I
shit.
know.
Now he's on a
Absolute
championship.
garbage, dude.
Yeah, championship. Was Brooke Lopez on the championship team when the Bucks won a few years ago?
I think he was.
He was okay.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't think he's left.
mhm. But yeah, back to my point when the Bucks won the championship the last time they won, I think in 2021, I feel like they didn't have too many instances where they needed to have like that go-to. I mean, Giannis would be that go-to at that point, but he's just going downhill and no one could stop him by that point.
Yeah.
But, teams are starting to adjust and forcing him to shoot more. So now that he has Dame on his squad, he has someone that could come off a screen in a set play or someone you just give the ball to and just go 1-4 flat and just get the fuck out the way with 8 seconds left and
Yeah.
let him work.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Giannis doesn't have a pull up jump shot in his bag. Let's just be
Oh,
honest.
no.
He can't do that. So
No, he can't.
this is the team. I want to see the Bucks and Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. I hope we get that matchup.
100%.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's the best matchup in that every casual fan and real hoopers want to see in the Eastern Conference Finals. That'll be fun because you got Drew
Just saw the
Holiday
highlight.
and you got Drew.
I just saw the highlights of the Wolves cooking the fucking Nuggets tonight. That was crazy.
Oh man,
Gobert was a menace. But dude, Bucks Celtics has to be the Eastern Conference
Mhm.
Finals unless, and I know we're not talking about them tonight, unless Embiid's able to come back,
Mm.
um, and spark something in the Sixers. That would be kind of cool too. But as of right now, dude, I'm all for riding with Celtics, Bucks, best of
Yes, sir.
seven.
Hmm.
Give me that all day. Yeah,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I want to see that matchup. Jason
need
Tatum,
that.
Giannis. I want to see
Need
Drew
that.
Holiday. I need to see Drew Holiday guarding Damian Lillard too in the 7 games.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%,
Um,
dude.
but yeah, man. Let's talk about the next team, who is the Bucks kryptonite. It's the Miami Heat, who I think is another scary first round matchup. I mean, they're an experienced team. Sometimes their injuries with Jimmy Butler has caused them
Hmm.
to fall down in the standings, but
Yeah.
pretty sure Jimmy's going to be healthy before the playoffs start. And they made some key, like I like that Terry Rozier pickup in the middle of the season because now
Hmm.
it's another scoring option to help Jimmy Butler. And they drafted
That's low key good move.
drafted a stud, Jaime Jaquez from UCLA.
That's who I wanted the Lakers to draft.
Bruh,
I was so
something
pissed.
something about those 4 year NBA, 4 year college guys when they get to the
I
NBA,
know.
they're just ready to go. Like they're
Homeboy
not.
was in our backyard, dude.
Yeah, bro. Didn't
Like we did it
he
with Josh
also?
Hart. Josh Hart was the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right.
And fucking Villanova for 4 years. Oh,
Oh
that's
man, that's
frustrating.
crazy.
Anyways, that's a
Even
whole different story.
I think is Jalen Brunson a 4 year guy too?
Probably.
Or
Was he UConn?
he was in Villanova with Josh Hart.
Nova with Hart?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Something to be said about a 4 year college guy.
yeah.
They just know. So like, and that's kind of like where I was talking to my son about this. Um, these teams like Kentucky keep getting bounced because they don't have any camaraderie. Like these kids go
Mhm,
there for a season, freshmen, they bounce to the league, and
mhm,
you get these teams that have 4 year starters, like five of them, and it's like, oh, they're in the elite, like Clemson or Bama. Like
mhm,
they're
mhm,
they probably got a few of them. NC State probably has a few of them too that have been there. And it's like they've been playing college basketball for 4 seasons. You get these kids that are just athletic freaks and top prospects, and just these gem of basketball players, but they're focused on the league their
mhm.
freshman year, and they just started playing college basketball,
Yeah.
and
Especially with these
that to
NI,
me is a big difference.
yeah, especially with these NIL deals now too. Like they can get a good grasp of what their market is like in the draft boards. Because
Yeah,
I mean, that's another thing too is their marketability. Who's gonna pick them up and where? So they're not really focused
yeah,
um on the NCAA tournament itself. They obviously want to win games, but they're trying to show off their skills individually as well.
100%.
So that's why,
Got
yeah,
to
I
make
mean,
that money, dude.
and yeah, man, you gotta make that money, and it just goes to show how good the Heat draft. Like
Yeah.
their scouting team is probably up there with the Lakers and the Thunder on getting good players like diamond in the rough guys. They just know what to look
Yeah.
for. They know who matches their culture, and they just snag them up.
And you got
Um,
Spo leading the ship, dude. One of the all-time
that's
great coaches.
dude, Spo. That's enough. That's why like
Hmm.
if the Heat play the Bucks in the first round, if the
Yeah.
Heat get that 7th seed and they
Yeah.
face the Bucks, it's gonna
Hammer,
be
hammer the Heat.
yeah, hammer
You
the
just say you
Heat.
have to.
You have to. You have to, especially with Jimmy Butler, man. I mean, Jimmy Butler just turns up every time in the playoffs. It's amazing to see. I love Jimmy Butler. I love how he trolls. He's making it
Yeah.
a thing now to troll when the media day he comes in all looking weird and shit. It's so funny.
Oh man, all about that My Chemical Bromance. This guy,
Emo Jimmy.
emo
Um,
Jimmy.
and yeah, the last team yeah, there you go. Man, that's crazy, bro. He painted his nails too, dog. He don't give a fuck. I love it.
Does not. No, he knows about to be, top team in the East. He
Mm-hmm.
knows it. That's the confidence that exudes right there.
Dog. He's like, I can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals again with my
Yeah.
nails painted. Fuck it.
Yep.
Um, all right. Last team I want to touch on before we start wrapping things up is the Cavs too. I really like the Cavs. I feel like they're a well balanced team with Evan Mobley, Jared Allen kind of commanding the paint,
Hmm.
and then you also got Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell is like a two-headed monster in the backcourt. Um,
Well balanced team.
well-balanced team. I mean, they're not like standout. Like there's not like your Kevin Durant's or
Hmm.
your Jason Tatum's, but I mean, if with their experience now, I feel like they can make some noise in the playoffs. At least get out of the first round. Um,
Yeah.
their offensive rating isn't the best. They're 16th. Um, but like most good teams, it's their defense, and they're ranked sixth in defensive rating. Um, and it goes to show they're able to protect the paint. And Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, they're athletic enough to get out on shooters if they need to close out. They're not like big. They're not slow bigs. They got some agility. They can move a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, man. I mean, haven't caught a lot of Cavs games, but the ones that I have caught, um, Donovan Mitchell is a fucking beast too. So he reminds me a lot of Dwayne Wade, um, with his ability to get to the rim and draw
Yep.
contact. So yeah, man, they're another team that I wanna see do well in the playoffs. At least push teams to a seven game series. Because I mean that's all I mean, let's be real. We want every series to go 7 games. The more basketball we
Oh
can
yeah.
watch, it'll be fun, right?
Absolutely. That's the best two words in sports, man. Game seven. And I think that, to everyone watching, I think you can hopefully, take notice that we just want to see good ball. Like we're obviously like fans. We want them to win every game, but we also want to see good ball, right? And I think the Cavs definitely play some good ball. They got some good ball players on their team. Um, Evan Mobley, I'm a big fan, obviously being a USC fan. Getting to watch him play.
Hmm.
Spida, he has the ability to take over a game. We've seen it happen in the playoffs in the
Hmm.
past. So, Garland's a top talent, Allen's a top talent. They were drafted as such. So, the as much as we say like the West is loaded, like the East is loaded in its own way too. Like a
Hmm.
lot of these matchups, in the first round should be competitive. Like I said, I brought up the Sixers if they can get Embiid back. They'll be a force to be reckoned with, and they're going to be like a what 6, 7, 8 seed
Hmm. Yeah,
potentially. So that's going to be a tough matchup.
yeah, yeah. If Embiid's back healthy, they could potentially be if everything stays the same right now. I mean, this is a good moment to talk about our playoff predictions and kind of like the playoff picture as we see
Hmm.
it right now. Um, let's see what we got here. What I'm looking at is so yes, when to touch on the Sixers are eighth and they play the Heat and who are seventh. If Sixers get Embiid back in time and win that game, they can play the Bucks in the first round.
Give me
And
all that.
dude, that's gonna be fun. Giannis versus Embiid, and if Embiid can get it right, that'd be a fun matchup. And then we got and then the ninth and 10th seed are the Hawks and Bulls. But I feel like whoever wins that game, they're gonna
They're going
lose.
to lose.
They're
Yeah.
gonna lose to whoever loses that seventh. Like if the Sixers lose or Heat lose, they're gonna beat whoever wins the
Yeah.
ninth, 10th. So I don't think the Bulls and Hawks are that strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just to go with the third seed in the East, we got the Cavs facing the Pacers, and on the up and coming team. That's a really fun matchup to watch. You got two young teams. And then the Knicks and Magic, we talked about that. That's going to be some good basketball to watch.
God,
And
Pacers
then
Cavs has potential to be a legit
mhm.
series.
I hope. Okay, let's say Embiid does get healthy.
Uh-huh.
As a fan, I still want them to lose to the Heat, so the Heat can play the Bucks, and then we
Yep.
get
And then the Sixers
Sixers
Celtics.
Celtics. Yep. Yeah, that would no, no, man, that's a fun. That's a fun.
Yeah.
Imagine the
With
Celtics, like you worked all that hard. You worked so hard to get that number one seed, and then your gift is to play Joel Embiid in the
yeah.
first round.
With nothing to lose, dude.
Yes,
That
yeah.
Sixers team with finally nothing to lose, no pressure.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Give me that.
touch on the Sixers too. Tyrese Maxey's. I mean, maybe it's a blessing in disguise that Embiid went out because Tyrese Maxey is fucking hooping and giving him
Yeah,
the ultimate confidence. And as a basketball player, you know what it is. Like confidence is everything when you pull up and you make decisions on the fly. So yeah, man. I hope.
I need the Lakers. I need the Lakers to somehow get that 6 seed. I want the Nuggets first round.
Oh man, you really want the Nuggets the first round,
Yeah,
dog?
I do. I'm
Yeah.
nuts. Yeah,
I, I
I
don't.
just that's tough. That's a tough road. Having to, I mean, beating the Warriors, I think they could.
But man, but don't you think like okay? So we
The
talked about
Kings
the East.
worry me, dude.
The Kings do worry me too.
Like
But
AD has not shown up against the bonus.
man, the Lakers. Okay, but let's say things stay the same way right now because it might.
Okay.
It's looking like things might
Lakers T
change.
Wolves.
Lakers T Wolves. I
We
wouldn't
played
mind that
last year in the play-in.
I wouldn't mind that matchup. I feel
Yeah.
like we match up pretty well against them because we have AD who
Hmm.
can. I mean, Gobert and Cat, they're bigs, but they're not like back to the basket bigs like Sabonis and Joker and Embiid are,
Yeah,
right? So that's where
that's true.
AD can thrive in that sense because he can stand his ground. Because Cat, okay, first of all, Gobert has no post up game. I have a better
Yeah.
post up game than a Gobert, but
Yikes.
he's freaking 7 feet tall.
I mean,
Um,
potentially T Wolves, Clippers, Nuggets
mhm.
could be that path.
Yes. I would rather face the T Wolves or the Thunder, but I don't. But see, the thing is, Nuggets can easily slide into the 1 or 2 also.
Yeah, yeah,
It's so close with the 1 through 3 right now. It's like a lot can happen 1 through 3 and 7 through 10 or 7 through 9, I should say. I don't think the Warriors are gonna move up. I think the Warriors are locked in at in 10, um, unless one of these other teams start
Houston.
slacking off. I know unless Houston creeps in too. Um,
Jeez.
hey, let's talk about it. If Houston gets in the 10th seed and Lakers face Houston, fuck man, that's another matchup. I'm not because they got nothing to lose. And
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks. I mean, I'm still very
Oh,
confident
to
in the
face
Lakers.
that thing again.
I fucking hate Dylan Brooks, but the the fact that LeBron hates him, I feel like is an advantage for us as well. But he's
Yeah.
still a scary
I'd much
matchup.
rather face the Houston Rockets over the Warriors if I had to pick one of the two.
Me too. I agree with you on that sentiment. Um, but yeah, man, who do you think is going to finish one? Let's talk about Western Conference now. What do you think is going to be the seedings after the play-ins?
Yeah, probably Nuggets one,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Who do you think?
T Wolves two, Thunder three.
Two was two, then three. And then who do you think is going to be in the eighth seed?
Uh, it'll probably stay how it is. If I
Mm-hmm.
had to guess. Um, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, maybe the Pelicans drop. They
The
swap with
Pelicans.
the Mavs. Where they
That's
at right
true.
now?
They,
Four seconds.
yeah,
Yeah, I
possibly.
mean the Pelicans could drop. The Pelicans could
Yeah.
theoretically drop all the way to 7,
That would be I kind of want that to happen because
or 8 with the Kings. Yeah,
The Mavs can jump into fifth and play the Clippers.
Fifth Clippers. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a fun matchup.
we get Luka against them again.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean there could be a lot of moving and shaking. I just feel like the Nuggets are going to turn it on here pretty soon.
Hmm.
Damn, they're all close. 51 wins. So the T Wolves just beat the Nugs. Um, yeah, those will be 1, 2, and 3 in some order. Um, the Clippers are only a game above the Pelicans, and that's damn, dude, it's close.
That's
This could
close.
look actually completely different
Yeah, this could be
in the next
different.
by the time by the time we do our next show, dude, this could be
Mhm.
flipped.
Yes, 100%. You can have the Nuggets in one, and then T Wolves three.
Yeah, the East won't probably move too much.
Yeah, yeah.
There's room for it, but I don't think it will.
I don't think so either. There's like two. It's like multiple games. Like it's 2 games or more with separation at
Dude, if
least
we
one.
get Sixers with Embiid against Celtics, and then the second round we get Celtics Knicks.
That'd be fun.
That'd be crazy. And then Celtics Bucks, like the Celtics would have earned it for sure.
Yeah. That's a tough road for the Celtics to get to the finals. Then if that happens,
hey, let them have it.
Fuck it. Fuck the Celtics. All right, man. But I think that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, that's all I want to talk about is current state. Like, I think we laid the groundwork to have for future episodes where we can talk about the state of the NBA, like why dudes are just dropping 60 points and things of that nature. But, I think there's a good spot to cut it, and we'll pick up where we left off next episode. And this whole playoff picture might be completely different. Like you said, it could be 100% flip. So, yeah, man, just wanted to say thank you, Zach, Feel the Burn, for jumping on, talking hoops. I love talking hoops.
Oh, yeah.
And before we sign off, just want to give another quick shout out to our sponsor, SafeLightCandle.com. Make sure you tap in for LED lighting at affordable prices. And yeah, man, head up that Patreon link at K4V3.com. You can tap in. As you know, Slava Medvedenko's in that Discord as well. That's my name. We can talk a little sports betting. Baseball is here. I've been putting in some sports bets on baseball.
Hey,
we'll talk about that a little bit, but I love betting on baseball too. I might need your input in on another episode, Zach, or in the Discord. We'll talk about it. But yeah, man. Have a good night, y'all. Happy Easter Sunday or happy Easter weekend.
Peace out. Stay dry. Stay dry. We're about to get that atmospheric river.
There you go.
It's hitting right now.